October is a really bad month for me. Like September and October, not great months for me.
Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what did we go to the red carpet premiere of just a few days ago?
We went to go see Trick and Treats.
Trick and Treats. Now, not to be confused with the hit horror film from, what was it, like 1980 or 70 something called Trick or Treats, or any other independent film that's separate called Trick or Treats, because, when has that ever been used in Halloween culture at all?
That's true.
No, no, but Trick and Treats, directed by first-time director Eric Hector. Years ago, this was actually one of my first experiences on a movie set.
Yes. So you're in this film actually.
Yes, so it's a movie that I am in, although for like minimal time, it's a very, very quick screen time for me. But yeah, no, I was involved with it. It was one of my first times on a film set. And after all the work and effort and trials and tribulations, the movie was finally put together and put out. It's coming out October 7th of this year, 2025.
So next week.
Yep,
Yeah.
next week for all those who are excited and love independent horror and Halloween. It's going to be a movie out for y'all. And for all you who don't know, because, he's newer in the directorial helm here, Eric Hector, awesome dude, by the way, super nice guy. He started out as a comic book artist, and he has a studio called Heroic Age Studios in Mount Zion, Illinois. And they've been working on, they've worked with Marvel, they've worked with DC, Dark Horse, all the big names out there. They've worked on the Batman The Long Halloween, a story that coincidentally, DC's Compact Comics, they're re-releasing that on October 7th as well.
Yeah.
So I just found that funny. I don't think there's any coincidence there. But they're really well versed in the entertainment world, and now they're dipping their toes more so in film and television. And with this being Eric's first time at the helm, we went to this premiere, and we're really excited. He was really excited. A lot of heart went into this movie, a lot of time, a lot of effort. It stars Malcolm McDowell, it stars Gary Busey, and it was just such a fun time going to this premiere. And we finally got to see the culmination of everyone's love and hard work, blood, sweat, and tears come to this movie.
Yeah, it was super cool. Thank you again for inviting me, and thank you to Eric for having me as well. It was such a neat experience, and it was just really cool to be a part of a premiere and just get to meet and network with people. But the film overall, it's pretty solid, I would have to say. So
Yeah, no, it is a really good film. I mean, horror is, film itself is subjective. At the end of the day, it is. Not everything is going to be for everyone. And this most certainly is a movie that might have a couple of triggers for certain, some people. But, what horror movie doesn't?
yeah, well, and let's say it all together, everyone. Amory doesn't do horror.
You most certainly do
I
not.
do not do horror. I'm not a horror fan, but I still really enjoyed this film. I think there's like creepy elements to it, but it's not like something where it's like supernatural, and I think that's kind of what bothers me more. And so,
So the story of Trick and Treats is essentially a group of, I want to say, like teenagers or like college students. They get together and go to are they're on their way to a party when car breaks down, and they are caught up by this biker gang, and they're held up by the biker gang
mm,
to really demonstrate how horrible people can be.
and they certainly are in this film.
Yes, while they are trapped and held hostage here, there's a little supernatural being, an entity based on the lore of Peter Pumpkin Eater,
Mhm.
based on that little rhyme. And it really takes an interesting step into that folklore of Peter Pumpkin Eater.
Which I didn't know was a folklore either, which was super interesting. I love when like filmmakers can like take like a story like that and like expand it into its own little universe story. And that's something that I really enjoyed too.
Yeah, and we saw that earlier in the year with Sinners, which is one of the best films of the year. And it's great to see that type of DNA, really come to fruition here and carry on that kind of quality in a horror film of taking that folklore, bringing it and revitalizing it to the forefront. And Malcolm McDowell plays the spirit of uh, the pumpkin for Trick. And he does such a phenomenal job at delivering a really creepy, eerie, horrid in all the best ways performance.
I love all the performances in here are super strong too. I think the story is something that I think will trigger a few people. So again, if you go watch this film, just know that deep down. But also, I think this is a film that really does rely on the main actress, and she's amazing in it. I really enjoyed her performance and thought she was super strong, and you don't get that all the time with these, low budget films, and so I think that was something that was super strong too.
Yeah, Lauren Ledesma, just, I met her on set. She was wonderful to work with, truly a great person. And, she really brings it to this role. You can really feel how, like, the trauma, the horror that character is going through, and that performance is truly captivating. And Eric really does a great job of capturing that,
Mhm.
along with, the lighting, the cinematography to pair with it. It really enhances all these performances. Now, when I first saw this movie, I was thinking, wow, I'm not sure because there's a lot of lingering going on with certain scenes and certain shots.
Mhm.
And then when you get down to like the essence of what this movie is, it's like, no, that makes sense. Because sometimes we don't like to linger. We inherently don't like to linger on moments like that, which understandably so, but like on how horrible humans can be to each other.
Mhm.
And yet, here, when we do linger, that within itself is its own little horror movie. But it's a matter of how long are we willing to sit there, take it in, and really kind of sit through this journey. Are we like we're really kind of transferred into these characters for a bit to really make channel that feeling, you know?
That's really hard to do with horror as well. Jordan Peele says that horror is basically timing, and I think you have to time stuff out so right when you do horror. So those lingering shots, just like that, I think that it like gets me more antsy, like more scared. I'm like, okay, when is it gonna come? And like again, not a horror fan, but that was certainly done super well.
Yeah, and something that was really refreshing about this movie as a horror film is it didn't lean into jump scares.
No, which I am so grateful for.
Yeah, and it's like not in the sense of, oh, they just couldn't do it or like the timing was better or like anything like that. No. This horror film again focuses on a different aspect of horror than we're typically used to seeing. And it's really refreshing that we're getting a lot of these type of unconventional films between One Battle After Another with Paul Thomas Anderson and Sinners taking that new element of folklore and Weapons as well, which I know you haven't seen, but like it is definitely one that takes in that idea of like genre bending and taking a new approach to the horror genre. And here with Trick and Treats, it does something similar where you expect one thing going into it, like, oh, this is probably gonna be a jump scare slasher horror film. But at the end of the day, you get a lot more out of it than you initially thought you were gonna get with your ticket. So it truly was a lot. Even and this is coming from someone that was in the movie, and that if you expect bias, whatever, go ahead. But seriously,
Selling it all.
I was even surprised by it. How much more to this movie there actually was. And, I had read the scripts before going into it, and my role was minimal, so I wasn't really too involved with the original story. But at the end of the day, when I was seeing it brought to life on the screen, I'm like, wow, like it really was something more than what I expected. And especially for someone like you
Yeah.
that's not like horror.
October is a really bad month for me. Like September and October, not great months for me.
Yeah, but no, for someone like you that really does not like horror,
No.
it's impressive, an impressive feat that Eric and the whole cast and crew here were able to bring something to you that you could still enjoy and that was you could still call in the horror vein of things.
Yeah, I guess I can count as a horror film, so that's 2 this year, so I'll take it, right? But, yeah, I think it was great for, a lower budget film. It just really showcased what you can do, and there's so much talent out there as well.
Yes, absolutely. And it on top of it, we have a again, going back to Eric's history with comic art, he
Yes.
did again the separation for the Long Halloween and like all this other stuff. You could look up Heroic Age Studios. They have a website. You'll see their history and everything. It's
We'll
great.
put a link in the
Yes,
description. Yeah.
absolutely. So, but yeah, you can really tell that a lot of these, like based on the lighting, the cinematography, the framing of things,
Mhm,
just how well versed in comics he is and like how he knows how to channel the image to bring to life and really make it pop
mhm.
and stand out with contrast.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I mean, it and us both as avid comic book lovers, it really is a treat for the eyes.
I literally have absolute Superman and Batman right over there right now.
They're in the room with us. Whether you're here for the horror, whether you're here for just like great cinema, whether you're here because, you just have a ticket and you want to go see a movie, I think that there's a lot to get out of this picture.
Yeah.
And again, not saying it because I was involved. You're not not
Not at all.
nothing at all.
Well, again, like I know we've been gassing it up. Like again, it's a lower budget film too, and so I think if you take it at that value, you really do get a lot. Like again, the CGI isn't like perfect, and it does. It's a little too long in certain parts, but if you really look at it and of what it is, it's a pretty solid film. I would have to say.
Yeah, and that's coming from someone that doesn't like horror. So,
Yes,
fine.
again.
But yeah, no, for me, it was definitely one that, and this is something that the best films are able to do, where the longer you let linger and stick with it, and you have time to let marinate in your brain, the more it's like, wow, that was actually a lot better than I thought.
Mhm.
And again, there are limitations to it because it is a lower budget film, and it's not like Warner Brothers is financing this.
No.
Considering all that, and especially with this being his first time at the helm, it's a very impressive first at bat here for Eric.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I'm really looking forward to what he does next.
Yeah, he said he had some tricks up his sleeve. Sorry, it was too
Oh,
easy.
uh.
Spider-Man me.
If you ejected this far into the podcast, I'm not surprised.
Not at all.
No, but I'm really excited to what he has next, and that next step. We've seen directors in the past that have had really solid first steps, and then their next one just they've been able to learn from mistakes from the past and just like what they could have done better in certain areas, and boom, like you can really succeed in rocket ship from there. I have a strong sense that's going to be the case here with Eric.
Definitely. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's really exciting. And but at the end of the day, Amory, we gotta rate this movie.
All right, give me my rating scale.
All right, so out of let's say 10 blood-soaked jack-o'-lanterns,
Okay.
how many would you give freaking treats out of 10?
I think experience has to go into a lot of this of seeing a film too. And so this was a really great experience. And the film, again, as someone who does not like horror at all, I did enjoy it. It was a really good film, and taking it for what it is, I think a 7.5 is a really fair rating. That's like a higher end for me. I really enjoyed it. I felt very deeply grossed out at certain parts, and it wasn't because it was horror elements. It was just the actors and how they portray the characters, and so I think a 7.5 is a really solid film. So
Yeah, I would have to give it an 8, and not
mhm,
8 out of 10. And it is just, again, a movie that when I was first going through it and letting it soak in, I was like, I think it could have like used more here and here and here. And while it's still not, like immaculate,
yeah,
it's it's still a really like it gives you a lot more than you were expecting for a low budget horror film.
definitely.
And I was most certainly not expecting that, and I thought it was just gonna be, run of the mill,
Mhm.
like, "Oh, look at it's some dude slashing some people or some spirit doing that." No, it's so much more than that, and I think Eric really was able to channel that and bring that to the screen. The movie does lean into themes that
Mhm.
will make some people feel uncomfortable, so go into it knowing it's rated R, that, like, it's going to be something that isn't meant for everybody, but at the end of the day, I think if you're a big fan of horror, if you're a big fan of new takes on horror, but if you're a big fan of that hint of familiarity enough in horror that carries that same spirit, or I guess demon in this
Yeah.
case, um, I think this is gonna be the movie for you. And it's truly a great, impressive feat to be a part of. And even though it was a small amount, I was just so happy to be a part of it, and it's really kind of carried me to this point on my little filmmaking slash podcasting journey
Mhm.
here.
Where can people watch it again?
So Trick and Treats will be out on October 7th.
Mhm.
It's going to be available. It's available for pre-order right now on Apple TV. You can pre-order it there. It's also available for pre-order on Blu-ray and DVD right now. It will be eventually available on all different platforms starting October 7th. However, if you want to get your hands on it right away and be one of the first people to watch Trick and Treats in the entire world, definitely use the link in the description. We're going to be putting in the pre-order for Apple. We're going to be putting in the pre-order for DVD and Blu-ray for all you physical media nuts out there like myself. And yeah, we want to know what you guys think about Trick and Treats. Do you think that Ethan gets the performance of his life? I don't know, but 30 seconds all. No, no, but what do you think of Eric's first time at the bat here? Do you think it's a great, first run of things here? Are you looking forward to his next project? Or do you think that this movie is something that will carry on in the Hall of Fame of horror here and be something you watch annually? Whatever you're thinking, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And with that, Emery, I think that about does it.
That's Rabbit.
All right, guys. So thank you again for joining us on another episode of Cassette Take, especially with this one because it's not sponsored in any way, shape, or form by the movie, but we just want to talk about it because it was just a fun experience for me. It was a fun experience for everyone I worked with, and Emery had a fun time at the premiere.
It did.
So it's just good vibes all around here. So we just want to let you know about it, and hopefully you'll be able to let us know your takes on our takes in the comments down below. So we hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast, but whether you have or haven't, please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan,
I'm Marie.
and happy Halloween.